And we are live. I'm joined here with Jenna Kerner, Forbes 2019 Retail and E-commerce, which is really cool because I was on the retail and e-commerce list last year. So I think we're like list cousins, I guess you can say, which is really amazing. I love, she is the founder of Harper Wilde. And I'd love for her to give you a introduction of herself, of her company, and share a little bit more about herself.
Great. Thanks so much for having me, Iore. Yeah, so I started Harper Wilde, and we take the BS out of bra shopping. And I started it with my co-founder, Jane, we launched a little over a year ago. We started working on it early 2015. And at the time, we were in business school at Wharton in Philadelphia. And neither of us came from a retail e-commerce background. I'm sure we'll get into this more down the line, but I was a neurobiology major at Cornell. I had been in the sciences up until that point. My co-founder was in public policy. And it really just came from such an organic place. We're seeing all of these direct-to-consumer brands solving razors, mattresses, runway dresses, and yet we're sitting there wearing a bra that's 5 to 10 years old, and I've got an underwire poking me in the side. And Jane came to me and she was like, "It's really crazy. Why are we paying $80 for a bra? I haven't bought one in years because I really just don't want to replace it." And there's just really strange behavior going on. And so, we wanted to, it really resonated with me. And so we kind of set out to say, okay, are we the only crazy people who are just refusing to replace these really old bras, or is there something bigger going on? And at the same time, we started reaching out to manufacturers to figure out, a bra is really complicated. So are we paying $80 because we need to be, or is this another example of, one large player owning a large percentage of the market? And it turned out to be, that turned out to be true. Victoria's Secret at the time owned 60% of the market. Their margins were insane. Yeah, I mean, that was 2015. So it's been tanking ever since. But that was kind of something we saw the writing on the wall. And so we spent our 2 years in school, in business school, really, building the proof of concept, designing the products, and then getting the business ready to launch. And then, we launched right after we graduated. And the idea really is it's a process that sucks. It's not fun like shopping for shoes or bags. No one wants to go shopping for a bra. And we wanted to, when we say we take the BS out of it, we wanted to make it as simple and convenient for, the women around us who are these amazing leaders who are, running a boardroom, running around the hospital, saving lives, running a household. And yet she's supposed to spend 3 hours shopping for a product that she really hates. And then on top of that, be paying $70 to $80. So we wanted to come in with a better shopping experience, as well as fair prices. So we launched a free home try-on program, which basically brings the dressing room into the woman's home for free, so she can try them on. And all of our products retail for $40, which is almost half the price of competitors.
That is amazing. First, I love the idea, the concept of the company. And when you think about, the current market, the digitally native brands, or just direct to consumer in general, there's an extra complexity and layer that lots of entrepreneurs don't necessarily realize what goes into it in the beginning stages. So I'd love to really understand, what did MVP look like for you, considering the fact that you were not only building a user interface online, but you were also delivering a physical product?
Yeah, absolutely. This was one of the toughest things for us. I had done some work at a few different startups and really learned, MVP for an app and different ways you can do that for technology. But for us, the physical product, at the end of the day, if someone has a great experience and then doesn't love the product, she's not going to come back and be a lifetime customer. So we actually took inspiration from the Rent the Runway founders who, similarly had an online experience, but a very physical product, and they really needed to gauge demand. And so what we ended up doing in our first year in business school, we devised this test to really gauge demand and figure out, is there a viable proof of concept here? So we had not raised any money, and we were in business school, so we didn't have much. And what we decided to do was we invited 50 women over to essentially test out our free home try-on model. We bought 500 bras from existing brands. So Victoria's Secret, Gap, some of the popular brands. We bought them on credit card. And so, we had all these bras here. We invited 50 women to come over. And essentially, we laid out 5 options because simplicity was a really big part of our value proposition. They weren't allowed to touch the bras. All they could do was look at them because we really wanted to mimic the online experience. So they could look at them, and then they were able to choose 3 that they could take home with them, try on for a week. They gave us their phone number so that we could Venmo charge them. If they decided to keep the bras, we Venmo charged them. If they wanted to return any, like our free home try-on process, we gave them a few different drop-off points similar to how you'd have, a UPS box. And so they were able to drop them off to us, and we only charged them for what they kept. And then we went and returned all of the products to the various retailers. And so, we kind of helped them sell some bras. But for us, it was such a valuable learning experience. We saw 80% of the women that we invited chose to take part in the home try-on process, and then 50% from there converted to purchase.
Wow.
So it was just amazing. And then even anecdotally hearing, wow, you guys made this really easy for me. I didn't have to sort through 300 options, being able to see which options they chose. And then, we followed up with a survey. Hey, why did you choose? Because they were all skin tone colored, very basic bras. So, we wanted to understand from that, what was it they were looking at? Was it comfort? Was it the fit? Was it a particular feature? And so we learned so much, at zero cost to us. And that was really what built a lot of our story that we then went out with so that we could get the money to, start designing our own products. And we relied on that research to know really where to invest and which features we could potentially take out.
Amazing. And so being hyper-focused on the user and going through that user research exercise is really important in the beginning, but also throughout, the ongoing stages of a company. Is that something that's still ingrained in your culture?
Absolutely. So one, just to add on to what I was saying with our test in the beginning, one thing we actually did, so when those women went home for a week, we actually went home with a couple of them and stood outside her bedroom door and had her try on the bras and, asked her, what are you thinking right now? Are you confused about anything? Because, this is fully e-commerce, so we're not going to be there in her bedroom. So that was, we tried to learn where she was struggling so that we knew what content to create to help her out. And then over time, we've continued to have, user feedback be such a huge portion. I'm actually sitting in our showroom right now, which is upstairs in our office. I won't show you because it's a mess. But, this is a place where women can come. We've got one of each of our bras in every size. So women can come and try them on. And not only that, it gives us a really great opportunity to constantly be interacting with women. We're launching a fit survey next week. And so a couple weeks ago, we had 5 women come in, go through our fit survey, and then we actually fitted them in the showroom. So we were able to calibrate, okay, is the survey actually working? Had she done this on her own, would she have gotten to the right size? So we're constantly iterating, constantly learning, and really trying to involve real customers in all of those decisions.
Amazing. So focusing in on that hyper personalization or making accurate recommendations. So as you start to kind of be a leader in the lingerie industry with these technologies, how do you, or what do you hope to kind of set the standard for in the future? I don't know if that's clear, but
yeah, I mean, our mission from the start has been the go-to for everyday bras. And one of the notions and the hypotheses we had is that, for 50 years, women have been told that we're wearing lingerie and corsets and matching underwear and bras, or that we should be wearing that to work. And we've talked to hundreds of women, and everyone's just like, I have never done that. Or who has time in the morning to be like, oh my gosh, this one's pink, this one's purple. And it's just this unrealistic standard and expectation. And we are really trying to celebrate the function of bras, the support that's needed, the comfort, so that women can focus on what actually matters rather than, the color and matching set of her underwear. And so we strive to be the go-to for everyday bras. And we want to do that in an ethical and a sustainable way. So one of the first things we did when we were in school, again, we had no retail background. So we were really concerned about, manufacturing abroad. Unfortunately, it is a really complex product. So you can't do that in the US right now with the foam cups. So we chose a manufacturer. I actually had a connection from one of my prior internships. And then we went in the middle of finals and flew over to Sri Lanka and just showed up. And we were like, we want to work, you know, in person with you. We wanted to see everything. They had us tour the factories, and they've been an amazing partner to work with. And that was just something that was really important to us from the start. And, you know, moving forward, Jane was at one of our other factories in Central America last week. And it's just really important for us to be really hands-on and making sure that while we're trying to empower women here in the US, we're not losing sight of empowering the women, you know, throughout the entire supply chain.
Phenomenal. So mentioning all those extra complexities of like having to, you know, work with international partners and ensure that, you know, throughout the process, it's fair and equitable, but also considering like the complexity of just building a consumer company in general. Has anyone ever cautioned you about starting a direct-to-consumer company or a direct-to-consumer company focused on women or focused within this specific industry, within the retail industry? I'd love to hear your experience and kind of how you combated those doubts as an entrepreneur.
My gosh, all the time,
Yeah.
constantly. You know, I remember when we first started, one of the first people who told us like a very hard no was someone who actually had been in the lingerie space for 20 years.
Wow.
And she was like, stop what you're doing and run the other direction. Like, this product is so complicated. You know, when you think about what we call alpha sizing, so like extra small through, you know, 3XL, it's, you know, there's one size. When you think about band and cup, the number of sizes, you know, there's a 32A through, you know, F, I mean, it goes way far beyond that, but band and cup really complicates things. And so when you think about the number of SKUs that we need, I mean, she was just like, don't even bother. It's so intricate. And yet, you know, I think our naivete on the industry was what really helped us push forward. And the fact that, you know, as you mentioned, we were so close to our customers and talking to them constantly. And we felt the need so acutely ourselves. And then to hear so many women around us, you know, we would start, oh, I'm starting a bra company. It was like we became therapists. People just unloaded. I hate bras. I hate bra shopping. I never replace it. I know I'm supposed to, but I don't know where to go. And we just kept hearing these similar themes. And so I think, you know, in moments where there's always going to be people that say no, you know, this woman had experience in bras. There's people who say, you know, there's too many direct-to-consumer companies. You're not going to get funding, or, you know, think about a different business model. I mean, there's so many people who are going to say no. And I don't think that people should, you know, continue blindly. But if you have a conviction and you've taken the steps to vet that conviction with, you know, true data from people who aren't living the crazy entrepreneur life, you know, when we actually get out there with customers and they're telling us the same things, you know, that's really what we lean on. There's actually a problem here for women that's not being solved elsewhere. And so that was what we leaned on to really push forward through, you know, many of the no's that we got.
That's phenomenal. And so Harper Wilde, what does it actually mean? And what's the meaning behind the name? I think when I think about the mission and hear you talk about the company, it's exciting and refreshing to hear that you're focusing on what women actually need on a day-to-day basis. So I'd really love to hear what the name is, what does it mean, and how it relates to the mission of the company.
Yeah, absolutely. So from day one, it kind of comes back to, we were never in retail. It's not like we were like, wow, I love bras, let's start a bra company. It was more like, why are all of these women who are doing such important things in the world stressing about a product that they have to wear every single day and they don't know where to go for it? And so for us, this whole taking the BS out of bra shopping is enabling her to do all of the amazing things that she's doing and giving her a great undergarment, you know, for those activities. And so for us, it's always come back to, how do we empower women, you know, throughout our supply chain, and then even post-purchase, we're partnered with Glamour Magazine's The Girl Project. So we donate to help put young girls through school in over 120 countries. So that notion of like education empowerment has always been really big. So when we thought about naming the company, we came back to, you know, two female leaders and authors of children's books, Harper Lee, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, and Laura Ingalls Wilder, who wrote the Little House on the Prairie series. And so, you know, it just, to us, it really, it completed that story of, you know, giving back to young girls and education and educating women throughout the process of, you know, what a bra should feel like, and the fact that you don't have to pay $80 for it. And so it just felt really fitting, and we loved the name.
Amazing. And I wish we had way more time because I have so many more questions and we're getting so many inquiries. So hopefully we can get these to you and you can, share those answers out wildly. But I'd like to understand one last thing. What is your favorite eatery on the Cornell campus or the Cornell ecosystem, even if it's not still there?
I hope it's still there. Gosh, I really love Slovakia House.
Oh, yeah.
I really the pizza, the breadsticks, the salads. Every time I go back with friends, it's one of the first places we go. So I hope it's still there.
Awesome. They switched on us, but this was really great.
Great. Thank you so much.
No, yeah.